Hello, everybody. We're here with me and Paulina answering questions from the yesterday's video, and there was a very good questions, and we make the discussions about these questions. I want to read it to you right now, and we're gonna be taking away. And we had a good discussions with Paulina, by the way, and that led us to give you some more and more informations about it. And I mean, these questions have so much broader view, but we're gonna give you also the best as we can get for you guys. Okay. So without ado, Dio, thank you for another brilliant video. Actually, I have to recognize the person for this. Uh, who is the person? hogggard2005. That's what the person is. And Dio, thank you for another brilliant video. A questions I have is with your great insight and a soul recognition awareness between two people and when they connect and that level and a magic creates between them. Why does the one twin then suddenly reject the connections? Is that because of the energy of the one twin is too strong, overwhelming for the other for balance, so they reject the connection? Um, First of all, yeah, talking about this and there, I mean, I'm gonna give the mic to Paulina. To, she has a very good insight on the one side of the issue. I'm gonna give you the other side, and then maybe we can come up to a few other things in that through the experience. But without other ado, I want to give you Paulina, as she has a very, I like that. All right,
Thank
darling.
you. I have few ideas. Hey everyone. I have few ideas because it's basically in principle it will be coming from ego. It's either will be created because of someone's fears that like it's intense connection. So our minds even will be confused and we will be trying to once the bubble of phase will be kind of dying out or just getting back to normal, those fears will start surfacing. So I think that's the one initial mm, like reason why it happens, but also sometimes it's we are changing the dynamics between runner and chaser very often with those connections. So that might be also the reason that the person who is like both people, like when they are just not ready spiritually just for those connections, they will be influenced by their egos, and sometimes they may have some grudges related to how the connection was looking previously, and they will start, even though the connection was beautiful, they will start reminding themselves, okay, what my mind is telling me, or how that person was behaving in the past and how it was looking in the past, and those kind of like red flags will start appearing. So that's one thing, and I think that that's everything is on this ego level. I also had a little bit more understanding that came to me right now, but maybe first let's focus on those parts in which like we are just not mature enough to maintain this connection. We are just afraid because it's very intense. Those energies are new for us. So I think that's one of the biggest issues here. Unhealed fears for what's coming from this connection.
Yeah, talking about this unhealed connections, I've been, dealing with the twin flames, helping the twin flames, coaching sessions, astrologians, forever. But I find in quite a few when we were talking, and now I'm gonna kind of like giving you the answers on that because your answer is actually if the energy comes too strong, because this is what your questions is like why does one twin tend suddenly reject the connections? Is that because of the energy of the one twin is too strong? So basically, if you look at it within all this, within the energies, within the soul, when imagine that the love has not been opened so much, and all of a sudden you awaken, you are ignite, and you have this power that you are not ready to handle yet. And now you take this power, you understand this power, and you take that huge amount of energy towards someone who is not ready to take it, and you think that they're going to be taking the same love as you have within you. And here is what happens: you take that huge, humongous energy bubble love, and you're like, hey, I love you with the whole universe and the world. It's only you. And they're not ready, they're not even connected with the universe yet. And you put that pressure of that connections. You put that power in there, and it feels overwhelming when that whole energy comes to you. You're not fully aware of. You're not fully awakened yet, and all of a sudden it's like you give me something, but dude, I don't know what it is. Or hey, girl, you give me all this love. I don't know. I'm scared. And they're rejecting it in there. And the lack of the maturity of this case, if you look at it within this is a sometimes the people rejecting, but what is the rejections? You have to look at it deeply from within the rejections, because sometimes what happens is here I'm giving you this love, and the other person is like, you know what, I'm not ready. They don't say no, but they say, I'm not ready. Can we hold on for a little bit? And so on. But the other person takes it as a rejection, especially the one who have this energy, this power inside of it, because there is no understanding about these connections yet. So what happens is the one person takes that as a rejections and he's withdrawal, but also puts pressure because he's been rejected from before. Imagine the little boy who is like, oh, I'm going to see this person, I'm going to see this person, I'm going to play with them. They're so beautiful. I remember her. We used to play like this and so on. And now you go there and you have these expectations that this person is going to play with you, but they don't play with you. What do you do? How do you take that, you know, energies inside of it? And now similar situations is actually placed in there to show you what you need to heal, what you need to mature, and to look from it. And I know that the energies sometimes they're too strong in there, but sometimes we are preset ourselves for rejections simply because we are given anything and everything when the other person is really not ready. And when they're not ready, they basically didn't tell you no. They maybe told you no because of their internal fears or what Paulina had a very good point, protection, to protect
Oh yeah, I
itself.
forgot about that. Yeah, I want to also mention about that.
But when you're looking at all this inside of you, that leads you to maturity. And that leads you to that growth. That leads you to this. And people reject connections because of what? Lack of understanding the connection. That's what when are we talking about the twin flames dynamics in there. How can you get yourself on something that you personally don't understand? And it goes back again to the same thing we've been preaching about. You have to work on you. It's a personal journey. I want to give the mic to Paulina that she was talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also wanted to explain that a little bit from this other perspective because you were mentioning about the person who is just overflowing someone with love. But I see that there is always another person on the other side, and sometimes it can be related to low self-confidence. That the person cannot you want to give to the person all the love, but that person doesn't even believe that someone can make really mean it, that this love is really someone can feel this way. And there's a little bit of um mix of a self-sabotage, but this low self-esteem, it all comes from immaturity. But it's just always like when both people are just not ready, they are not spiritually grown, they still enter the bubble of phase. But if they are not mature, that will be the moment that there is this the protection that we were talking about, because it's somehow it feels to me that divine will show you as much as you are supposed to see during the bubble of phase. But if the connection, if it would be continuing, but at the same time it will be harmful for you or maybe both of you know both of people, they will, like, the energies will just try to cut the connection so no one is hurt more than necessary. This, the connection served its purpose. It got you started in your journey, but there's no need to cause more traumas. So instead they will decide to cut the connection, and that would be the moment that this energetic connection kind of dissolves, and one person will still have emotional attachment, another person will just go as far as possible. So that's when the runner chaser dynamic is starting. I think that's the initial point. But there was one more thing I wanted to say, but I think I will be back on that. But there was a download and I missed that, so I will need more time to regain that.
Okay.
You can.
I'm gonna be talking about this right now. Talking about that. You ask about the soul recognition and awareness between two people. I'm gonna share personal right now here. Uh, when we have our initial connections, we recognize the connections with Paulina, but the second time, I want to talk about a little bit about the second time. Our connections between us was exactly on that internal peace and self-aware of to our own selves about that inner peace because it's matured. And that maturity brings us to these bounds that we have. But as rejection comes in, is because there is an imbalance. For example, the way I was explaining is that sometimes the masculine energies they are coming in with all this giant bolt of love. It's just like, I want you to picture it. You and I in a restaurant, and we're going to Italian pizza. Buongiorno, signore, come vai? And you are ordering the biggest pizza in the house. So the biggest pizza in the house comes in, and you're sitting with your lover, the connections in there, and you take the whole pizza and you try to give that to the person to eat the whole pizza at once. Well, they're gonna eat it. They're gonna reject that. So the lack of knowledge that I was talking about the twin flames. That's what is the purpose. Back in the days, we came out of the twin as a twin flames in the public to put that in, in the public eyes because he wasn't spoken. Okay, he wasn't spoken before, but wasn't public. The public was not aware. Back in the days, we created this awareness. A lot of us came out of the public, out of the shadow, talks about this. And when that energy is inside of you, you do not know what to do it. You have to take it, that energy is within you, and break it down pieces by pieces to understand it from within you before you act. But since that energy is so overwhelming within us, we are acting from this lower self energies. It's like I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna push it, I'm gonna. The more I wanna put in, the more she's gonna accept me because I need them, I need them. Well, the needs are coming from the lower self because you need something that you don't have within you. And when you recognize this, you give so much something, but they're not ready for it. They're not ready to eat this whole pizza. But if you sit down at the restaurant and you get this giant pizza, you cut your pieces, you have little by little, you have your cup of wine, you have these good conversations. Lack of mature conversations is one of the biggest failures in there. Can have a conversations, but the lack of mature conversations inside of it. This self-awareness is there, is that magic creates that inner peace that comes from the truth. The truth leads to the peace. How are you gonna have that truth? By you discussing, you doing the things. But when the truth comes in, you don't have the conflicts anymore within you. You have the peace. And then with the peace comes what? The joy, the happiness, the love. Because it is happening. Okay? So back to you, darling.
Thank you. I think it all depends in which stage of the journey we are, because if it's initial ignition, it's all over the place. So you don't know what's going on. There is no way to talk about maturity if, let's say, both twins are unawakened. It's just a lot of energies between them, and it's just, and what, I got it back, so I wrote it down. It's like when there is this bubble of phase initially, it's this energetic exchange between people. So what energies want to do is just, okay, let's bring into balance, let's heal as much as possible for this time being of this bubble of phase. But very often, um, those the most intense energies can be, coming more and more and more, and some moment it will be the most like apogeum of, the connection. And very often it includes some intense like sexual energies, all this stuff. And after this, I would say, hottest part, many couples are, that's the moment that, it's from that moment it starts to kind of crumble down. And many people are confused because it will be, okay, everything was going perfect and it was just getting better and better, and suddenly it just totally shift. And and approach of, let's say, one of the people. So I think that only shows that, sometimes the connection just serves its purpose, and that's the moment that, if it serves its purpose, if it the energetic exchange happened, that's the moment, that's it for this connection. You have to just do it, will start to dissolve, and you will try to fix it, you will try to save it, it will fall off because it's just, it's okay, let's move to something else. But what people tend to do is just, again, they try to be so emotionally attached to that because it's first experience of this beautiful love, that they kind of not see this big picture because it's hard to see at the first place, when it happened. But the whole lesson is just about letting go and embracing it how it comes. But that's I would say that's the broader picture for all of this. It's just acknowledging, if it happens, if someone rejects you, just move on, because clearly there is something unhealed, and both of you have to get separated for a bit, I think.
Yeah, there is something else what you were getting. I was getting downloads. Um, Love that. You need to also pay attention that during those rejections, if someone is a catalyst and they just comes in and they wake you up, and you got that love, and now you to learn the love inside of it, and you're trying to get that energy back into the catalyst. Whoops, what is going to happen? The catalyst will reject you because the catalyst job is only to awaken you up, not to have it. He's the spark. So here's the spark, as I explained before. You can put all the wood on a fire, on a fire pit. Let's put it that picture. You put the logs, nice and everything. You put the little ignition you prepare everything. You put this. All you need is a one spark. So you are ready for this awakening into the soul. And all you need is someone to comes in and ignite you, right? So here is, it comes in, the universe sees you ready. You put this beautiful fire ready with the fire up your soul. So the universe says, okay, let's lead it up. Let's create something. And all of a sudden in your life, something is created. You meet a person, you meet this, and divine is like, here we go. That is your spark. You get ignited. And all of a sudden, the fire begins to burn. It becomes beautiful fire. What happens to the spark? Do you think the spark can handle the fire? No, they can't. Do you think the spark will disappear with this? Yeah, that was their purpose. It comes in. And this is why a lot of the people I keep talking to them, throughout the years, you do not know who is your twin flame until you're not healed fully and you arrive to the point to be with your twin flame. When the divine says here, that's what they are. That's what it is. You may meet a one, two, three, four, five, six, seven catalysts during the time because your fire is pulled out. By who? By you. If you have emotional situations, if you have physical situations, if you have not embraced your own self and all the levels. We're talking about in the ego, embracing to see your red flags within your ego, to have the maturity in there. If you have not embraced to love yourself physically, accept yourself on a physical level, if you have not embraced your emotional level, your psychological level, your philosophy level, your spirituality or religion level in there, you have issues within you first, and then those issues reflect within others. When you heal all that within you, then you're ready. And God says, okay, you're ready for the next step. Now, through that fire, it was burned energy that went in, your heat. Now you can go ahead and be free. Now you can get this fire, this warmth, that energy that was built within the fire of the soul can never be put out anymore. Your soul begins to work. You're connecting with your soul from within you. But again, the main issues that I see is a lack of educations in the spiritual, in the soul connections, in the twin flames, even what it's after that. So that issue still, even these days, they're not gonna go away. It doesn't matter how many videos they're gonna be made out there in the world within, because people constantly awaken, people constantly comes in. What I can give you an advice is if the person rejects the connections because of this energy of the one twin is too strong, step back. Step back and says this to person is like, you know what, I feel your energy is too strong, you're coming in too strong to me. Please allow me the time to look at it. Let's talk about this. Let's go with this. But if the person rejecting that, they have problems with not being accepted. They have personal inside acceptance from within. They have to work on their acceptance in there. They have to accept themselves in order to accept not only of rejections. A lot of the people have issues to rejecting the no. Okay, but it is about to understand that the good things takes time, teaches the patience, awareness, love, proper build up, and no pressure. Because if the connection brings the pressure, it's not gonna lead into good. But when the connection brings this tranquility, this beautiful blessings of peace in there, you're gonna find out the things that the way work, they work beautiful. That's all I have. It's all yours,
Hmm.
darling.
I think that will be summary. I think everything what comes from the soul feels right. So if during one any of those connections, if things will start feeling icky or not perfect, something is off. That means that it just you really have to step back. Like don't fight with that. Don't go against. If your soul is telling you something inside is telling you, oh, it was so special, but I feel something is not right. And you kind of sense it's going nowhere. Like probably that's the reason like it's not supposed to go anywhere. So it's just appreciate the connection. It's just all about embracing, those connection as they come. As much as, emotion come into play, it's just being able to recognize, if someone rejects your love, just take this love that you save. Just don't put it into ether. Just take it for yourself and just don't waste it. And I think that's one thing, why would you spend all this love that you have for something like it cannot be received properly? So it's like really don't try to put it in a place that was not supposed to go in the first place because again, like I just remember what Mel said that this love at the beginning it was supposed to be for you only. It's just how our minds work that you have to create someone like opportunity to give your love to something because that's how our minds work. So it's hard to give it to just to ourselves. We are not trained this way. But I think
Yeah,
that was the last message.
yeah, we're not trained this way. And remember one thing, somebody rejecting you, they're rejecting themselves. Somebody abandoned you, they abandon themselves. Somebody ghosting you, they're ghosting themselves. Because that's what their reaction is what they are from within them. Okay? Because this beautiful love within the twin flames is about equality of give and take. And it's the same time through that equality of give and take, there are always going to be issues. There's always going to be things that you're going to have to work out as a couple. But when the give and take is there, it's like you give them your opinion, they give you their opinion, you give the feedback, they take the feedback, they give you another feedback, and this becomes a healthy, spiritual, mature conversations. And that's what the maturity is most important at times. Okay, guys? So my advice is mature. Take a look at it. Look at maturity within you. Okay, guys? Love you.
One last thing.
Okay.
Just to remember, it's supposed to be an exchange. It's not supposed to be one-sided. So if the energy goes one way, but there is no way to get it back, like there is no exchange. So just that's what we have to do. We have to maintain those flows of energy. So that's something to keep in mind. Just be mindful what happens to those energies or love or feelings or emotions that you're sending out. Are they flowing back to you or are they hitting the wall? And just something to consider when you're looking into if the connection is really meant to or worth your effort, or should you just see those things objectively and guide those love back to you?
Yeah, one more thing in there. I don't know. We're kind of like today we are like within this. The best thing is you have to always thinking about one thing. It's called stirring the pot. Okay, the universe stirring the pot, and it cooks you to be ready as a twin flame. It adds a little flavors and adds other things. What do you do when the cooking is not ready but you're hungry? Don't put these energies out there. You have to learn in this patience and this tranquility inside of you and wait for the soup to be ready. But the soup is you, but the universe is the one who stirs the pot. And when you know this, okay, there will be not this intense pressures out there. First of all, within you, but second of all, when that is not within you, what is it within you? It is the peace and the wait and the patience. And when you're patient enough, when you're getting enough and maturing with enough, you can enjoy your soup, which is you. All right, guys? That's all I got to say about
Beautiful.
it. Bye, guys.
Thanks for
Love you.
watching.
Thank you for watching. I
Bye.
appreciate you.